What's going on, Facebook? It's Marquise Navarro again with another live daily dose coming from my office this time. Going to be in the garage workshop working on that project from last week later. Man, sorry I missed you guys yesterday and Friday. I took some time with the family. Some of us just started homeschool with virtual connecting, the video conferencing, and it is a pain in the ass. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. Especially because the formats are not what I'm used to. The formats aren't what the teachers are used to. The formats aren't what the kids are used to. And there's a lot of back and forth, trying to remain calm, if you will. I did okay. I'll tell you that right now. Breathing helps. What's up, Christian? My buddy from Germany. I know he wishes he's back here hunting and living the good life in Alaska. But anyway, that has been a bit of a task for all of us, and trying to figure out the assignments they're supposed to be due. It's very interesting because not all the teachers are using the same format that I can tell. Like one teacher for my son, mind you, he's in sixth grade, and it looks like he's taken a college course, having to log in, make two 100 to 200 word posts, reply to two students with a minimum of 50 words each response, and have to ask a intriguing question within the response to promote the other person to reply. Well, damn, I think my master's courses were easier. Just kidding, by the way. So yeah, it's definitely taken some getting used to, but I think we're doing all right. A lot of stuff that we've been implementing helps. One, the routine. We were kind of lax days ago, I'm not going to lie, Friday. But today and yesterday has been pretty on point. I've got it down to almost a science. It'll get better as we continue. But that's kind of one of the things I want to talk about today is, controlling things that you can control. I know I mentioned it last week, but I think it's important that we try to remember that there's not a lot of stuff that we can control in this particular situation. But the only thing we can control is our response to it, and how we move forward with it. So a couple of things to keep in mind when it comes to, letting go of certain things and taking control of the things you can. The first is just to be honest with what is happening. And I talked a little bit last week as well about finding ways to think about something else or not really focus on what's going on. And maybe I should restate it or correct what I said. I didn't mean avoid it altogether. Okay, you can't avoid the situation. And I'm not just talking about this whole Rona thing. I'm talking about life in general. Anything that just happens to be something that is out of the ordinary, something that we can't control. You name it, and that's what I'm talking about. This applies across the board. But first and foremost, you do need to be honest with what's happening. You have to voice it. Tell yourself what is this thing that is happening to me right now? How do I feel about it? Acknowledge it. And you don't have to say it to the world, but if you're not willing to acknowledge it yourself, it's not going to help you. It's not going to help you move past what is going on and what happened, because that's when the healing process starts, right? Is acknowledging, well, this is shitty. I don't like it. My feelings are hurt, angry, sad, remorse, sorrow, you name it. You have to say it out loud. And as soon as you say it out loud, you're confronting what you're dealing with. And as long as you can confront it, it actually makes it a little bit easier to deal with. You can actually start to move on to the next step, is determine what you can control. So what is the one thing you can control in this whole situation? You. What's going on, Blah Belt? You can control you. How you respond. Are you going to respond in a way that is kind of self-destructive? I hope not. That's not what the goal is. The goal is to face these things, types of uncertainty, with kind of all right, it happened. The initial blow sucked. It's like a punch in the face. I'm not, dead or dying. How can I move on to the next step. What do I need to do to get over this particular step right now? And that's you controlling your response. And I think that is a really important thing to moving forward. And then as far as moving forward, the third step would be don't dwell on the negative. Now, don't get me wrong, there's going to be certain situations where it's just going to be really difficult to see any positive in the situation. And again, for those who are just tuning in, I'm not just talking about this particular instance of the coronavirus. I'm talking about life in general. There's going to be things that we're going to go through in life that are going to be just horrible things that we're going to feel is like the end of the world. But once we've done the first two things, i.e. acknowledged how we're feeling, we confront it and then determine what we can control, and we move on to not dwelling on the negatives. All right, this bad thing is over there. It did happen. I survived it. All right, that's a positive. I survived this thing. I came out okay. I can recover. That is the thing. You gotta stay positive. If you start going at it from the unknowns, like I don't know what's going to happen, I don't know if I'm going to make it, I don't know if my family is going to continue to love me for not surviving, whatever. Just don't focus on that. What is something that's good in your life right now? And that's why I think, like most people, if we're having a rough time dealing with things, we do need to wake up every morning and start the day off with a positive note. All right. Some people like to do self-affirmations. They have a little mantra that they say to themselves that gets them motivated and going for the day. I know a lot of people that do breathing exercise in the morning, even meditation. I'm not a meditator. I'm not saying it doesn't work. I'm just saying I'm not a meditator. I do believe in sitting and visualizing for a few minutes a day the outcomes you want for whatever situation you have going on, whether it's a daily, weekly, monthly thing. But one thing that I know works, and I've seen it work across a lot of different mindsets and different issues individuals have, and that thing is waking up and writing down or saying out loud what you're grateful for. And I think I might have mentioned it last week, I'm not sure, but starting the day out with like a grateful journal, if you will help. It will definitely let you see, okay, the situation sucks. My life might be in shambles at the moment, but what am I grateful for right now? And of course, for me, it's my kids and my wife. The fact that I'm still healthy, and the fact that I have a roof over my head, and the fact that I have a network of individuals that I can turn to. Okay, so those are things, that help me out. All right, when it comes to controlling my environment, I'm not saying any of this stuff is like, just I'll do this and it's going to be over the next day. No, you have to be you have to go at it with intent. If your intention is to just kind of ignore everything I just said and, maybe, I'm just going to do all of it tomorrow. Well, no, like you need to do exactly what I said. Maybe not exactly, but you need to do what works for you. All right. But these things kind of work for me. Saying what it is, how I'm feeling about this current situation, and then trying to figure out, is there something, that I can do about it? If no, then the only thing I can control is how I respond. What am I going to do? Am I going to sit there and just take it? Or am I going to figure out how can I get out of this different or better, right? And another thing this should be doing for everybody, if you go through a bad situation, is this should be prompting you to prepare for it in the future. All right. I don't know how many of you are going to be stockpiling toilet paper out of this whole coronavirus thing, but I know I will. That is a joke. I'm not sure where that came from as far as needing so much toilet paper, but it was a thing. Luckily for us, we got a couple rolls left. So just keep all that stuff in mind. I know every individual is going to be having different issues or different feelings about this whole thing, and that's fine. This may not work for you, but it may. I encourage you to do some research and look for the things that folks put out there. There's a lot of information about, controlling your own environment and dealing with things that you can't control. There are a handful of folks in the world that want to dwell in the negative and they stay in the negative. And you can tell if everything you wake up to every day is negative, 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 that's going to be you. You may actually be attracted to it and you can't get out of it. I encourage you to step away from it. All right. I have to step away from Facebook and social media on a regular basis throughout the day. I can't look all the time because when I used to look, it was looking for funny memes that I could steal from people and then share with others. Now it's looking to avoid all the crap, all the negative, all the death, right? So that's one thing I can control. I can control my intake of the crap that's being put out. All right. So I encourage you, sit down, think about how you're dealing with whatever current uncertainty or situation that you have in your life, even if it's not the coronavirus, something else on top of that. Determine what you can control and then try to focus on the positives. All right. So I'll be hitting you guys back up tomorrow, most likely from the workshop, but we'll see. Schedule's getting kind of tight with phone calls and, of course, school. So, yeah, more to follow. Thanks for everybody that did tune in. Feel free to leave me some comments if you're catching the replay. Let me know what you want to talk about. Let me know what's on your mind. And if, like I said, if I can't come up with something to say about it, I will find somebody who can. I'll bring them on. All right. Y'all be easy.